Glad to have you with us on Asset Television News. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. Senator NWOKO calls for use of technology against crude oil thieves. Cultists invade Iruekwen as House member denies involvement. Coalition can't defeat TINUBU, says Onovo. And other news in detail. Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has insisted he will remain in the People's Democratic Party PDP, where he was elected as the 5th civilian governor of the state. The decision was in response to overtures from a former governor and Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawali, urging the governor to join the All Progressives Congress, APC. The Special Assistant to the Governor on Media and Communications, Mustafa Kaura, said Lawal had since made it clear that he would not abandon the party that gave him the ticket to contest the governorship election and won in 2023. Member representing Esan West, Esan Central, and Igweben Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Marcos Onobon, has denied any involvement in the cold clashes in Iruekwen. According to residents, Iruekwen is currently gripped by fear following the resurgence of cult-related activities allegedly linked to the Aye confraternity. Residents have expressed deep concern over reports that members of the outlawed group are regrouping at Onobon's residence. The renewed cult activity has triggered alarm among community members who accused the federal lawmaker of being complicit in fostering insecurity. However, in a statement, Onobon, who is also a former Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, described the report as unfounded and malicious, noting that he had never supported, encouraged, financed, or participated in any activity that promotes cultism. NWOKO, the chairman of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Crude Oil Theft, said Nigeria must implement a robust technological framework to curb crude oil theft in the country. NWOKO, in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, said that crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region had long plagued the nation, resulting in severe economic losses, environmental degradation, and national insecurity. He said as a country heavily reliant on oil revenues to fund its budget and development, it was imperative that her national assets were treated with the seriousness they deserve, adding that it was time to reclaim control of her oil assets. He advocated for the deployment of AI-powered surveillance, ranging from drones to predictive analytics, to monitor the nation's pipelines and facilities. He also advocated for the strengthening of the country's regional security, noting that oil theft thrives in insecurity. Asset Television News will return after the break. Stay tuned. Well, thank you for being there. If you're just joining us, you are watching the news on Asset Television. A former presidential candidate, Martin Onovo, says it will be difficult for any single opposition party to defeat President Bola Tinubu in 2027. Onovo, who was the candidate of the defunct National Conscience Party in 2015, said this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria in Lagos. According to him, the only way to defeat the All Progressives Congress APC in the next presidential election is a strong alliance of opposition parties against the ruling party. Onovo described the coalition being championed by a former People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and other like-minded leaders to challenge Tinubu in 2027 as a step in the right direction. Well, 34 embassies in Abuja are at risk of being closed down by the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) over unpaid ground rents spanning 11 years. The opposition People's Democratic Party PDP, Federal Inland Revenue Service, and the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, who were also listed as defaulters, had settled their ground rents with the FCTA. A publication by the FCTA revealed that many foreign missions had not paid their ground rents since 2014, with the affected diplomatic missions collectively owing over 3 million naira. On May 26th, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike ordered officials to commence enforcement on 4,794 properties that were revoked due to non-payment of ground rent, spanning between 10 to 43 years. But President Bola Tinubu intervened, granting a 14-day grace period, which ends today, to affected property holders to settle their outstanding obligations. The Director of Land FCTA, Chijoke Nwankweze, disclosed that the defaulters would pay penalty fees of 2 million naira and 3 million naira respectively, depending on their locations. Well, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has said that the Dangote petroleum refinery should sell premium motor spirit petrol below the current 825 naira per litre price being sold by the Lekki-based plant. IPMAN Publicity Secretary Chinedu Ukadike, in an interview, stated that the refinery had the necessary enabling factors to sell petrol below its current ex-depot price. Ukadike was reacting to a comment by the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, that the refinery contributed to the consistent drop in fuel prices to a level that Nigerians pay about 55% of what other West African citizens pay for petrol. Also recently, Dangote told ECOWAS officials and President Bola Tinubu that the Naira for crude policy of the federal government had positively impacted the pricing of refined petroleum products. Though Ukadike agreed that the current petrol price was cheaper than what other West African states paid, he said the product should be far cheaper in Nigeria, selling for about 750 naira per litre. With that story, we end the news. Do well to follow us on all our social media handles for more updates and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.